Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, SKN.
We are going to take a brief look at the weather. It's partly cloudy with a 60% chance of showers. The high today is 86 and low is 68. So again, make sure to get your umbrellas just in case you have to go out and you might get a little wet. All right, Mimi?
And it's actually warming up, 86, getting there. We're going to jump right into the latest in local news. CMO says children at a heightened risk of developing diabetes post-COVID-19. Of course, this news is coming from WNFM during the NEOC COVID-19 press briefing on Wednesday, January 26th. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws informed St. Kitts and Nevis that of recent reported published information from the U.S. Center of Disease Control, the report states that COVID-19 may raise the risk of diabetes in children. In terms of some recent information coming out of CDC, the research shows that children who have recovered from COVID-19 appear to be significantly increased risk of developing type 1 or type 2 diabetes. So they looked at two cohorts of children, and in one cohort, they found that 2.6-fold increase in the risk of developing diabetes post-COVID, and in the other cohort, a smaller 30% increase in risk in developing diabetes post-COVID-19, and these are children under the age of 18. That was a quote from Ms. Laws. Considering the recent report, the Chief Medical Officer said the information provides an additional reason and underscores the importance for parents to give consent to their children, those who are eligible to be vaccinated. So some interesting news that is as it relates to how life is evolving after COVID-19. I know that children are increasingly at risk for getting diabetes just in general, but now hearing this information, I guess we need to be more careful.
Yeah, it's definitely alarming. Definitely alarming. All right, we're moving on right now to the second story on the local scene. Haitian immigrants treated humanely while in custody in Nevis, and this from the Nevis Island administration by way of press release. The 36 nationals of Haiti who entered Nevis illegally via an unnamed boat on January 2nd, 2022, were treated humanely while in official custody on the island for almost 3 weeks. This is according to the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, during his monthly press conference on January 27th. He said, quote, "You would have been aware that we had, unfortunately, some 21 Haitian nationals that would have come ashore here on Nevis illegally some weeks ago, and they were taken into custody. They had been housed and treated in a humane way as we could. I'm advised that they were housed at Potworks, and I'm advised that based on the latest information that the Ministry of National Security in St. Kitts is indicating that they will be repatriated to their country, Haiti, on January 31st. And we know as well that they, in fact, left the country. So, yeah, alarming stuff, Mimi, especially in this climate when people are seeking better lives. Unfortunately, the minister went on to say that, we couldn't keep them because they obviously arrived illegally, no way of working or anything like that. So, interesting news coming from Nevis.
All right, so we'll continue with the local news in Nevis. And the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, invites young people to apply for scholarships and financial assistance. This news is also coming from WNFM. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, disclosed that a number of training and scholarship opportunities are available for individuals who are desirous of going abroad to study. During his monthly press conference on Thursday, January 27, Mark Brantley urged young people to seize the opportunity for training when they become available, especially when they are free, of course. So if you're out there and you're thinking about going off to study, you are concerned about how your parents are going to afford it. Parents who are concerned about how your youngster is going to get the opportunity to go to tertiary education, which is now necessary in order to move forward in today's world. These are the opportunities that are currently available, and I encourage you to look into these opportunities, not to sit back and say you don't know, not to sit back and say you couldn't be bothered, but to look into these opportunities, and wherever you can get something as important as an education for free, my advice is to grab it. And these are the words coming from Premier Merrick Bradley. He also went on to say, too many young people are not seizing these opportunities, and as a result, these opportunities are going a-begging, Bradley said. However, he shared the details of the scholarship opportunities that were available. And again, this is some really great news. Education is very expensive and it's becoming increasingly expensive. So, of course, if there's an opportunity for you to get it for free, I agree with the Premier of Nevis. Grab onto it.
Definitely. I agree with you, and I agree with him as well. All right, so that brings us to the end of the latest on the local scene. We will be back in a moment with more of the latest on Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
We are back on Good Morning SKN. Regional news, celebrating a transformational Caribbean woman leader, and this from Civil press release. The Caribbean Women in Leadership, Civil, congratulates Prime Minister the Honorable Mia Motley, QC MP, on her recent national election win. As Prime Minister Motley embarks upon her second consecutive term in office, she has reiterated her government's readiness to fulfill the mandate entrusted to them by the Barbadian people and their commitment to tackling present and anticipated challenges while working towards meeting aspirations of sustainable development. Ostensibly, the rallying cries are not very dissimilar to those heard across many other Caribbean countries. What does, however, distinguish Barbados is the foundational ethic, which discernibly drives the principal woman herself, and which consequently permeates her government's policies and processes. It is an ethic that Civil recognizes as transformational leadership, an approach whereby one's power, resources, and skills are used responsibly within democratic, cooperative, inclusive structures to advance a vision of gender equality, social justice, and human rights for all. Within the past year alone, from the UNGA 76 to COP 26, to the handling of the COVID-19 crisis and Barbados' transition to a republic, Prime Minister Motley's focus on improving equity and well-being and quality of life and her propensity for building alliances on every front leaves no doubts about her leadership. Civil congratulates Prime Minister Motley, and those congratulations are accompanied by confidence in her capacity for good governance based on transformational leadership, which she embodies. So excellent news there. Obviously, Prime Minister Motley, one of your icons, Mimi, I know that you've said that time and time again, is being recognized again for her leadership. So interesting news indeed.
All right, then we'll move right into international news. And I haven't heard this name in the news for a little bit, for good reason, I'm sure, but here he is again. Trump offers chilling glimpse into possible second term. This is coming from CNN. Former President Donald Trump conjured a vision of a second term that would function as a tool of personal vengeance and become even more authoritarian than his first when he vowed to pardon U.S. Capitol insurrectionists if he runs for the White House again and wins. His pledge at a Texas rally Saturday was accompanied by a call for demonstrations if prosecutors in New York who are probing Trump's business practices and those in Georgia looking into his attempts to reverse his election loss in the state, do anything that has defined was wrong or illegal. The comments underscores Trump's obsession with delusional lies that he won the 2020 election and his determination to put that falsehood at the core of the Republican worldview. As was often the case during the 4 years of his term in office, Trump pardons threats shows that he will still make no distinction between his personal goals and the national interest or rule of law. But for the former president's new rhetoric outbursts also at times hinted at concern with his own legal position and comes at a moment when various criminal and congressional lines of investigations seem to be tightened around him. So that's some interesting news. I mean, I do know some people who are Trump supporters, so I can see, some people rallying behind him, but it was definitely a very interesting time in U.S. history and world history. So that's something, I guess, to keep our eyes open for.
2024, here we come.
Wow.
All right, well, there you have it for the latest. We will be back with more of Good Morning SKN in a moment. See you on the other side of the break.
Next, please.
Good morning, Mommy. How are we today?
We are okay. I brought in Bobby to get her first HPV vaccine to secure her from this cancer-causing menace. I'm just trying to make sure my girls have a chance at enjoying life,
You look unsure about something. Are you okay?
I'm a little nervous. My boyfriend found a lump here the other day, and now I'm freaking out.
I understand how you feel, but let's take care of Bobby first. First, let me explain about this vaccine, the HPV vaccine. The HPV vaccine protects both boys and girls. This vaccine can prevent most cases of cervical cancer and some cases of sexually transmitted infections. Mommy, that's it for Bobby. Can we talk privately for a few minutes? It's really good that you told me about your boyfriend finding the lump. I'm glad that you weren't too scared. Mommy, when was the last checkup? Which includes your breast examination and the pap smear.
Honestly, I don't know anything about pap smears. Is that something you do during childbirth? Because if that's the case, I would have done it twice, right?
A pap smear is an examination of your vagina and the pelvis area. It should be done for females between the ages 18 to 69 at least once a year. The World Health Organization recommends that the doctor or nurse that is doing the examination remove the cells from the cervix and check for any abnormal cells, cancer, and the human papillomavirus, which causes cervical cancer. If females get regular tests, anything unusual or abnormal can be treated and seen in its early stages. The girls are being vaccinated before age 30 to reduce the risk of getting cervical cancer. Women tested early and girls vaccinated can help us end cervical cancer. Don't be afraid. It's a simple examination which will be over very soon. Come on, let's get tested.
Self-health management refers to the measures people take to manage their own health. You and I should remember to wash hands often with soap and water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Take your temperature morning and evening. Watch for symptoms. Persons with diabetes or hypertension are reminded to take your medication regularly as prescribed. If you have no symptoms, you may carry out your normal routine and boost your immune system. When you are outside, avoid public spaces and wear a mask at all times. If you develop symptoms, put on a mask and seek medical care. Do not take public transportation. Inform the doctor of your travel history, any contact with confirmed or suspected cases, your occupation, and whether anyone around you has similar symptoms. If you become ill, please rest at home. Wear a mask and isolate yourself from others in your household. If you share a bathroom, disinfect daily using 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Everyone must work together to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
You're watching Good Morning SKN, and this now is time for our segment, Culturally You. Indigenous describes any group of people native to a specific region. The indigenous are the holders of unique languages, knowledge systems, and beliefs, and possess invaluable knowledge of practices for the sustainable management of natural resources. One of the indigenous groups native to our Twin Island Federation is the Kalinagos. To learn more about their inhabitants, we are joined by Mr. Larry Armani on Good Morning SKN's Culturally You. Mr. Armani was a founding member of the Okolo Tegramantine Arts Theatre and also the St. Christopher Heritage Society, now the National Trust, a former general manager of the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society, and is now a small farmer and a calypsonian. Mr. Armani is, in essence, a historian and also my former principal. So welcome to Good Morning SKN. Mr. Armani, how are you doing today?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so the very first question that we have by way of understanding the Kalinagos is, how did they arrive in St. Kitts?
There is evidence of human settlement in St. Kitts that goes back to more than 2,000 years before the present time. We don't know much about these people. They were pre-ceramic, that is, they did not have their own pottery. They did not make pottery. They did not. So there were not many made objects, but we know from middens, that is, areas where you have a lot of shells and so on, where they gathered to eat and participate together in feasting on the food that they harvested from the sea. There were many waves subsequently of migrants coming mainly from the area that is presently occupied by Venezuela and the Guyanas, Orinoco River area, to these islands that can be dated to about 1,200 or so years before the present time. So amongst these people were the Kalinago. Now the Kalinago I might speak a little bit more to that later on. But there were these successive waves, and they were very, very adept and proficient seafarers. They made and traveled in canoes that could hold up to 20 persons. And for many years, hundreds of years before the arrival of the Europeans, they traversed these islands of the Caribbean, and there was a very robust trade amongst the various settlements in the Caribbean islands, chain of islands, as well as with the mainland of South America. So the Kalinago, by archaeological investigations here in St. Kitts, were here, it is estimated, some 900 to 1,200 years ago. And so that, I think, answers the question how they came here. They came here by canoeing, by traveling the ocean and the seas from South America, from the areas, as I said, presently occupied by Venezuela and Guyana. And they traverse these islands and they establish themselves in many of the islands of the Caribbean.
I think you've also given us some insight into a little bit of their culture, because I was very fascinated when you mentioned that they made canoes that could, hold about 20 people, etc. Is there anything else culturally that you would have to tell us about them?
They are identified by their ceramic remains that have been discovered. The pottery, the ornaments and so on that they created, the stone tools as well that they made. And that is why we know that this migration, took place in the island at a certain time, because the ceramic remains are consistent with remains like that throughout the Caribbean. It is known as the Saladoid period, based on a place in Venezuela. So we know, that about the material culture. And of course, there are the petroglyphs. There are petroglyphs in the ravine at Pelham River, so-called colonial name, Pelham River. And there are petroglyphs elsewhere, scattered here and there in St. Kitts. I don't know if any petroglyphs have been discovered in Nevis, but I know that middens that predated the arrival, have been discovered in Nevis. So yes, there are these elements of the material culture which have remained. Many of us know about the petroglyphs. These are engravings in stone, in the sandstone on the ravine of this river, and which is testament to the presence of these people. And of course, there also are other petroglyphs that occur elsewhere scattered. For example, there are two huge ones at the road going to Wingfield and so on, and there are others here and there. So these, you could say, are testament. The ones at the Pelham River, I like to call it Bloody River, because it was given that name after a terrible massacre in 1626 of these people. When the Europeans first arrived here, specifically when Thomas Warner arrived here, he was welcomed by the Kalinago and succored, in a sense, the first colonists. They were taught, they were introduced to techniques in agriculture, in harvesting, in farming certain local products, cassava, beans, maize, and so on, which stood them in very good stead when their crops were destroyed by hurricane and so on. So they enabled the early settlers to survive. And they also taught them the techniques of fishing in fish pots. And that is one of the things that we have inherited today, the use of fish pots in harvesting coastal fish. But within 3 years, Tegraman, the chief, and in fact, the English built their settlement between the two rivers that were populated by the Kalinago. But within 3 years, Tegraman was assassinated as he lay sleeping in his hammock. And then there was the bloody massacre. And this is a very signature event in Caribbean history, in world history, because it, in a sense, established a tone and thrust of the genocide that was perpetrated amongst native peoples everywhere by colonizers whose main, motives seem to be in acquiring colony.
Mr. Armand,
yes.
We will pick up the discussion
Sure.
from this point when we return from this break. We'll be back in a moment, everyone. Please stay tuned.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Yeah. I know we can make it. It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gonna be safe. Everybody gonna be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. roll up to roll up. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right. Cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah. It's better for us. Hey, I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll up to roll out.
All right, so welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are talking with historian Larry Armony about the legacy of the Kalinago in St. Kitts.
All right, so I wanted to know what influence does the indigenous or did the indigenous people have on our present day culture?
Well, it's difficult because, as I said, there's very little material remains. And I would just like to mention that there was an archaeological survey done at Bloody River in 1998, and discovered that there's deterioration of the petroglyphs, and recommendations were made for their conservation, and also the recommendation was made that castings be made of the petroglyphs, and then so that they can be reproduced and placed somewhere else which is safe. Of course, they will always remain there in Bloody River because that is one of the testaments to the thing. And there are certain elements of the intangible culture. I mean, many of the words that we place names, and when I speak about the Kalinago, I have to extend it beyond St. Kitts Nevis, because it's, as I said, they inhabited the Caribbean, particularly the Lesser Antilles, so-called the small islands in the Eastern Caribbean, and there are lots of place names there as well. I mentioned to you the contribution to the early colonists in St. Kitts, and as I said, the place names, the other names, hurricane, for example. I mean, many children learn this in primary school. Is derived from a Kalinago word. My name, actually, I might just mention in passing here, I'm a Calypsonian, and Alamulu is a Kalinago word. There was a French priest, Père Breton, who lived among the islands in the 17th century. He lived in St. Vincent, and amongst St. Vincent, Dominica, Guadeloupe, who learned or tried to learn the language so that he could convert people to Christianity. And so he wrote a book, kind of lexicon of Kalinago words, which I consulted, and I took some words from that book, and I gave my daughter, actually, one of those names. And my son, I gave him one of those names. So in a sense, those words survive. I survive now, and I gave myself. Alamolo means rainbow, and that is the name I gave myself. And talking about that, presently in Central America, in Belize, in Honduras, in Nicaragua, Guatemala, there are some people living there, descendants of so-called Black Caribs. These were shipwrecked Africans who landed on the coast of St. Vincent and lived amongst the Kalinago people and they were joined, and even before they arrived, there were many runaway Africans, enslaved Africans who lived there. So there was a very vibrant and robust community of Black Africans living amongst the Kalinago, and they became a very great problem for the English and the French colonizers because they were resisting colonization. And eventually, when they were defeated, many of them, particularly those who had a more African phenotype, who looked more African, were transported to an island off the coast of Central America, Roatan Island, and later on they moved into what is now Belize, and they retained many elements of Kalinago, of Kalinago culture, including the language. So they speak a language which is very much influenced, and in fact, structurally, it is part of the Kalinago language. So the Kalinago language survives today in Central America, in Belize, and not only that, but there are probably more Kalinago living in the United States than in Central America, because there's a lot of migration from Central America to the United States. So there are large pockets of Kalinago-speaking people living there. And when, just by way of example, I put Alamulu into a search engine, I came up with the Garifuna, because they also have written books about their culture and about their language. And there was my name, Alamulu, as part of the Kalinago language. So the language, in a sense, survives. And I think in St. Vincent and Dominica, and to a lesser extent in Grenada, there are small, very small populations of Kalinago people living there today. But of course, the culture is much more integrated into the local culture.
And speaking to the names, Mr. Armani, we have Kalinago names here as well in terms of our country. So Laimiga and Uwali, St. Kitts and Nevis. Can you tell us what those names mean?
The same person I referred to, Père Breton, subsequent, settlers during post-colonial times, if you will, wanted to give the islands, or to identify with the Caribbean and the legacy of the Kalinago, and so imparted those names to the islands, their respective islands. So most of these names are derived from the work of Breton. Laimiga, meaning fertile land, Oali, land of rivers, and so on. There is some contention or dispute regarding the islands to which these names, were attributed, because as one historian has said, this man, he did not travel all the islands. Geography, was not very well developed in terms of naming islands and so on and identifying them. So how do we know for sure that the name he gave to Laimiga is really from Laimiga, and so on and so forth? But yes, there are many islands in the West Indies today, the Caribbean today, and of course Haiti. Haiti is the first, independent Black state, you could say, which threw off the yoke of colonialism. It of course, paid a very heavy price for that, which we won't talk about now. But when they established their republic in 1783, or thereabouts, so 1804, well, the revolution was 1783, and then they established a republic in 1804. They gave it the name that the native people had assigned to it, Haiti. So Haiti set the pace, not only in throwing off the oppression under slavery, but also in asserting their own identity by actually giving the name of their country, Haiti, from the Kalinago people, right? And it was a French colony, Saint-Domingue, but they kind of dispensed with that and gave themselves the name Haiti. So that is a very strong and powerful legacy as well.
Absolutely correct. And that's a very good point to end on. I feel like this conversation needs to be had longer.
Yes.
So I think that we need to invite you back, because I learned a lot from you, and I'm certain that our viewers as well would benefit from hearing you even more. So I do want to thank you for stopping by Good Morning SKN and sharing with us a little bit of history and culture. And we will be back in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
So nurse, what now?
Let me explain. I'm going to put your feet in these 2 meter stands called stirrups. Your legs will be open, then I will insert my fingers into your vagina and make a check. After that, I'll insert this. When that is inside of you and open up, I can see your cervix better. Then I will use these other devices to help me remove the cells from your cervix and check for the cancer and the HPV. Just relax. It will be over very soon.
Nurse, that wasn't so bad. I thought it would have been very painful.
I am glad your first experience was a good one.
So, when will I get the results?
The results usually return in 3 weeks. You have to come back here to the health center and I will explain. If there's anything abnormal, I will make a referral to your gynecologist.
Okay. Can I get the HPV vaccine my daughter got?
No, I'm sorry, you cannot. The World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization did a lot of research and found out after persons are sexually active, the vaccine does not work as well.
So what's the best way to prevent me from dying from this HPV?
Just what you did this morning. Early and yearly screening for the HPV virus and checking for changes in the cervix with the pap test.
How do they know they're not sick?
I know, it's really sad. In 2014, 1 in 4 women in St. Kitts and Nevis were tested positive for one high-risk type of HPV. And in the last 10 years, the number of women with cervical cancer has increased.
See what I mean? But it's good that you could get the pap test, the HPV vaccine, and the breast checks all at the same time.
Yes, share what you've learned with your family and friends. We in the Ministry of Health are encouraging women to come and have these tests done every year because cervical cancer can be effectively treated if detected and diagnosed early. So let's both do our part. It's time to end cervical cancer.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16 and your daughter at 13. So girl look me, but me no in that. Big man no deal with back pan back.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Has anyone ever touched you here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Humans are innately interdependent, social creatures, which means that we have an instinctive desire for community. There are groups around the world that are organized primarily for the benefit and betterment of their community. One of such groups is the St. Peter's Pride Project. This is a community group formed in 2020 to build community spirit through a 5-pronged approach that includes education, health, finance, spiritual, and cultural enhancement initiatives. Today, we welcome Mr. Valentine Lindsay, the chairperson for the St. Peter's Pride Project, to Good Morning SKN to share with us a little bit more about this project. So, good morning, Mr. Lindsay. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
All right. So, what can you tell us about the St. Peter's Pride Project? What's the mission?
Well, the mission, as you just said, it's to build a community block by block. And so we are using a 5-pronged approach, which is cultural, health, education, finance, and spiritual. And so we are harnessing the efforts of our people within the St. Peter's, which is the St. Peter's area, which extends from Monkey Hill, Connery, all the way to Half Moon. So we are capitalizing on all of the people within that broad segment of St. Kitts.
I didn't know St. Peter's is that big, Half Moon.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, so I assume you go by the parish.
Yes, it's St. Peter's Parish.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, so what can you tell us about, or rather, why the use of the word pride in the project? What does that mean for you?
Well, pride is a collective of lions. And so the symbol for St. Peter's Pride is the lion face. And so when you think about the lion, you think about majesty, you think about courage, you think about protection. And so we want to harness the community by capitalizing on these aspects, or these what you would call traits. And so that is what pride is. Pride is also, we believe too, that each person have a responsibility. So it's, for us, it is a personal responsibility in delivering excellence. And when we say delivering excellence, is by putting your best foot forward to build the community.
I think I like the name Pride now. Now that you've explained it, I really, really understand, and I love it. And I love the logo as well. So for the launch of the St. Peter's Pride Project, the organization presented to the Department of Social Services. Can you tell us about the donation? And what's the purpose of the donation?
Well, I wear many hats. And one of the things is that I visited the community centers around the country as part of my work. And I recognize that the community centers are underutilized. And so we recognize that we need St. Peter's Community Center to be a model center. And that is what we are aiming for. And so looking at the kitchen, we recognize that there were some deficiencies. And so we decided to go and partner with other persons within the community and the field to assist in terms of improving the kitchen. And so we went around and we were able to secure 2 stoves and 1 refrigerator as a start for the community center.
That's excellent.
All right, so I'm looking at a schedule right now. The St. Peter's Pride Project has actually scheduled a course of action for the next 8 months.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's start with the CURE program. What is the CURE program, and what are the activities related to that care program over the next 8 months?
Okay, well, we'll speak to the care program and the bingo night. Now, what we want to do is to use the bingo nights to raise funds to fund the care program. And so what we will be doing, persons will be able to purchase bingo tickets, or sorry, donate to the bingo tickets. And then we will use that money's raised to buy gift packages to give to poor people within the St. Peter's area or the less fortunate. And so that is what the care program is to go around and attending to elderly in the community by way of food, or whether to just to sit and have a conversation, because sometimes you may find that there are persons who are living alone and would cherish a company of others. And so that is all part of it. And, you know, in terms of plaiting hair and cleaning their house and that kind of stuff. So that is what the care program would entail.
I think it's very, very smart. And monthly bingo, well, sign me up. I'm not very lucky, but I'll play for the fun.
And it will be virtual. So.
Oh, virtual bingo. I've never done that.
Okay.
Okay.
Chance to do that. Yes.
I see here also on the list, panel discussions. What topics do you plan on discussing?
Well, our first discussion is sort of to a semi-virtual discussion, in that we will have presenters from around the world. And so our first program would be on the 23rd of March.
Okay.
And so we have a Dr. Marilyn Morris out of Canada. She's a professor and she has her own university in Canada. We have a St. Kitts-born professor as well, Terence Martin, and he's a doctor and he's working in the US. And so, and you know, he's in the area of finance.
Yes.
And so we have Sybil Welsh, who works at ECCB, and you know, she deals with a lot of money matters and that kind of stuff. And then we have Isis, another, well, Sybil is from, I think she lives Half Moon, so it's all part of the same. And we have Isis Walters Phipps from St. Peter's, who is into the Bitcoin trading. And so our first topic would be seizing the benefits of a digital economy in development. And so we will be, you know, that is a conversation that we are not really having.
No,
and we're recognizing where the world is going in terms of digital economy. And so that would be our first conversation. And that is the 23rd of March.
So most of these discussions are centered around finances.
Well, we will stay within the 5-prong approach. And so this would be our first session, yes, which would deal with financing.
All right, well, we are talking with Mr. Valentine Lindsay. We will be back to continue this discussion in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Chronicle, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
With their big belly.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are talking with Mr. Valentine Lindsay all about the St. Peter's Pride Project, and we were, before the break, discussing some of the activities that have been planned for the next 8 months. We are picking up right now, Mr. Lindsay, on the activity that concerns a cultural fair. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the cultural fair is to display the arts of the community, that is the St. Peter's community. So we will have persons register. There are persons who do things like shampoo. They have their own shampoo line. They have their own hairdressing line. They have tea bags and, soaps and different things. And there are persons who are seamstresses and tailors and carpenters and so. So persons will be able to display their art. And so we want it to be, again, St. Peter's base. So we'll be appealing to persons within the St. Peter's areas so where they can display their products. And so that is what that is about.
I mean, we actually have quite a lengthy list of the activities. I'm seeing a cake baking course.
Yes.
Very interesting. I think my grandmother lived in St. Peter, so I'll sign up.
Excellent.
On behalf of her. A primary school essay competition, a Connery's Men's Conference. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, Connery is a community that is a bit isolated. And when I say isolated, their nearest neighbor is almost 2 miles away, which is Keys and so forth. So, there are a lot of young men in Connery. And so we are targeting 100 men from Connery to come to this conference. And we'll have different speakers speaking on different topics. And so it is something that we feel is important. And we just want to harness the brotherlyhood and the mentorship and so on. Those are things that we would want to come out from that conference for Connery.
So your target of 100 men, that would be minimal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in keeping with the COVID protocol as well, we
can social distance.
Okay.
So responsible. Right. So let's talk a little bit about the primary school essay competition. Has a topic been decided yet? Or?
Well, not as yet. But what we want to do, because we recognize that a lot of the culture of St. Peter's is dying or is hidden away. And so the topic will be centered around the St. Peter's culture. And so we want the students, the primary students, to go and ask their grandparents, to go and ask the elderly about their culture. And that way we'll be able to document in a special way the culture of St. Peter's. And so we'll be able to bring to the forefront what the St. Peter's people is about, or what our ancestors were all dealing with. Because we are part of the sugar base, and so a lot of our culture has to do with the sugar. And so, the governor for the French that settled here lived in St. Peter's. And so there is some healthy culture that we need to keep alive.
I think all of these ideas are so ingenious, how you're tying these things together. A primary school essay competition that also helps us to document, history and culture. I think this is really, really interesting. The last one that we have here on the list is the ABCD's Agricultural Business Cottage Industries Display. That was a mouthful.
Well, this is basically, we discussed that is before, is to display all of the St. Peter's people activities, whether it's through agriculture, through cottage industries, which will deal with the cake. Which will deal with the soap baking and the tea bush and, those kind of things. So that is what that will do. But in terms of the cake baking, we are starting on the 10th of February, which is just, the next 9 days. And so we will be baking 8 different styles of cakes in 8 weeks. In 8 weeks. And so we have persons signed up already.
Can we still sign up?
Well, for the next batch. Okay. Because we're only taking 8 at a time.
Okay,
because we just have 2 stoves, so we'll have 4 groups of 2s.
Okay.
Yes.
How can people, last question, how can people join or contribute to the organization?
Well, we, under this same 5-prong approach, we will have what we call cubs. And cubs, the lions, the young lion. And so persons who are versed or skilled or in like finance, they will be able to join the finance group, or persons who are into education, because we want to have a school program in terms of helping students at the primary level with their homework or extra curriculum activities. And so persons who can give assistance in that will join the education club. And so that is, the 5 tenants, we will have a club for each of those. So when one person joins, they will be able to sign up and say which aspect they would be able to give back, because it is all about each one, bill one.
Mr. Lindsay, very engaging conversation today. Thank you for coming and speaking with us all about the St. Peter's Pride Project. Best of luck to you, and I'm certain that our viewers, now that they know how to contact you, will definitely be doing so. More Good Morning SKN in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
So you mentioned something about a lump.
Babe, I just felt something on the left side of your breast. Tell me if you feel it.
Do you do your self-breast examinations monthly?
No, I don't.
Well, women are supposed to examine their breasts once monthly. Let me show you how. When at home, you can check while standing in the shower or while lying down. Simply place a pillow under your right shoulder and your right arm behind your head. Using your left hand, move the pads of your fingers around your right breast, gently covering the entire breast area and armpit. Use light, medium, and firm pressure. Squeeze the nipple and check for discharge and lumps. I did find a lump in the upper left breast. I am not sure what this means. Therefore, I need to refer you to the DMO, or you can see your private physician. The doctor is going to examine you and recommend an ultrasound or a mammogram. Listen, not every lump is cancer. 80 to 85% of the time, the lumps found are benign. That means they are non-cancerous. Lumps in the female breast or armpit can be non-cancerous tissue growth or fluid buildup, or a number of things that can present themselves at various times. But sometimes it's a sign of cancer. That is why I am referring you to see the doctor.
Okay, nurse. Thanks for your help.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
You're watching Good Morning SKN, and today we welcome Michael Blake to Good Morning SKN's Expressions. He will be giving us a treat in the form of a poem entitled Build Me a Monument. This was read at the recently held 1935 Buckley's Uprising commemoration held last Friday, which we discussed yesterday as well. So, without further ado, Mr. Blake, take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone who is viewing and listening. And it is my pleasure to share with you my latest poetic composition entitled Build Me a Monument. Man's history spans millennia, consists of both bloom and blight. Some actions are honorable, others hellish, dark as night. The black man in particular, we've had our history rubbished by racist, colonialist oppressors who really would prefer we did not exist. But the conscious ones among us
who know from whence we came, who know from whence we've come, are fully aware of our indispensability in mankind's development since day one. Our contribution, our innovation, our inventiveness, skill abide. They can be glossed over by blind bigots, yes, but they really cannot be denied. Black people have a history of militancy, of radical thoughts and thrusts. Recognition of our successes, our achievements for objective truth is must. So let's take 1935, for example, in January month at that. Right there on Buckley's hallowed grounds, vicious planters' plans fell flat. Workers braved violence, faced gunfire, including armed force by the state. But the workers' principled, fearless stand only served to precipitate new changes, yes, improvements in the conditions of their work and living. And these served to benefit them then, as well as their generations succeeding. Of course, it's known by all and more that the St. Kitts Buckley's action served as the start, the fulcrum, the catalyst for similar change throughout the region. Yes, in nigh the entire Caribbean archipelago, from north, south, west, and east, sprang similar protest movements, and workers' hurried conditions did ease. It led to formal workers' unions and to political parties as well. It was the 1935 Buckley's uprising from whence these positive developments did swell. That spot then in Buckley's, where forebears' blood was shed, where black men did stand and fight, must be accorded the respect it deserves and demands. Call for justice right. No commercial activity must stain that unique and cherished space. Instead, we insist a monument be erected in that place. Man's history is not complete, nor full, nor truthfully is told, if places of memory are not constructed, preserved more sacrosanct than gold. So now, in 2022, I do believe the time has come for the heroes and sheroes of 87 years ago to be memorialized in stone. Let us erect a structure that's fitting, grand, strong in beauty. We must commemorate the Buckley's uprising with an edifice for now and posterity. I say, build me a monument.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
You're watching Good Morning SKN with Mimi Armstrong and Jamie Morris, live on Studio 327.
And you're watching Good Morning SKN, and we're here with Michael Blake, who just presented a very powerful poem. So let's dive into that. Of course, we know what inspired the poem. Yes, we do. You made it very clear, but what motivated you to write that?
Excuse me. Actually, I have been involved in poetry for a very long time. If I may say so myself, I have won 1 or 2 prizes internationally for poetic competitions, and I've actually published a book, my first book. I've published 2 books. I'm working on the 3rd and 4th. My first book was an anthology of poems. But then I believe that a poem can encompass an entire thesis, an entire hypothesis in very few words compared to a written literary review, for example. And we must remember, by the way, that these calypsos we love so much are actually poems set to music. So I have always believed in the utility, the effectiveness of poems. And there are moments in time when I believe it is a poem that best captures one's emotions, one's feelings, one's ideology, one's philosophy of at that particular current moment in time. And so, as the Buckley's Uprising was celebrated this year, I thought it would be a good time, a good occasion to express my views and to call for a monument in poetic form. I am also concerned that in St. Kitts, we have not constructed any monument to commemorate any of the behaviors, activities of our forefathers and foremothers who over the years, since slavery, right up to the Buckley's riot, the Buckley's Uprising, and today, have engaged in activities and behaviors that have led to our enjoying a lot of liberties and freedoms that we so deeply take for granted. That's the background to the poem.
Well, I do have to say it's a very powerful poem indeed.
Very powerful poem.
One that will linger on the mind. Definitely a good call. And Mr. Blake, I want to thank you again for not only sharing that poem and expressing yourself so well, but also articulating the motivation for the poem to our viewers, to Mimi, to myself. And on this note, thank you for stopping by. Good Morning SKN. We will be back in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
I going out tonight. I got a hot date. He older than me, but I don't care. I like what he telling me. He say I look sweet and ting. What? You want me go home with him? Nice. Boy, I wonder if I'm ready for this. I notice he ain't got a condom, but I gonna go ahead, see? He might think me ain't like him or trust him. Plus, this my first time. Nothing gonna happen to me. Lord, how could I let this happen? I ain't ready for no child. Who can support me and my child? My man gone jail and mommy and daddy said they ain't gonna help. I all on my own. How could I be so careless? I wish I could go back to that now. But my education on hold. How could I let this happen?
Don't let this happen to you. Contact the Department of Gender Affairs to find out about confidential offices and personnel available to answer questions about your sexuality or pre- or postnatal concerns.
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom. This is Good Morning SKN with Mimi and Jamie on Studio 327.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN, and you might notice something different today, that there are 3 people on set with us, and that's because I have the pleasure of introducing to you our new host, Cartencia Carty. Hey, hi.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, SKN.
So Cartencia will be our future host, and with that being said, I would like to formally announce to all of you that this will be my last week here on Good Morning SKN. I'm shedding a fake tear now.
You shed a fake tear now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll miss you guys, but I know I'll see you guys all over on the street. So yeah, I kind of will miss you, but I'll see you still.
Is this where we have the moment of silence? We're supposed to pause, right?
Okay, that's enough. So please help us welcome our future guest. So we're actually going to invite Cartencia to be a part of our Loosen Up Today Together in the Groove. In honor of Black History Month, we'll be discussing some of our favorite Black icons in the following categories. So let's go. So our first category is music. And I'll go first. I was trying to be sophisticated, and I wanted to come up with some kind of classical Black musician, but my favorite musician is my favorite musician is Rihanna.
I was gonna cue those notes, but she's actually trying to.
I was really trying to come up with somebody really sophisticated, but she is sophisticated. She's actually very sophisticated.
Of course she is.
Yes.
Of course she is.
So Rihanna is my favorite.
So you didn't fit?
No, I didn't.
All right, good. Okay, as for mine, yeah, the man with the glasses, and I'm not talking Ray Charles here. Definitely Stevie Wonder. Okay, Stevie Wonder. One of my favorite songs from him is "Rocket Love." That was actually covered by a Juno Award winner called Sophie Millman. So if you want to check out both versions, I couldn't believe that he did the original. Stevie Wonder, definitely Stevie Wonder. And Cortencia, yeah. You're not getting away with it.
Mine would definitely be Ray Charles. I look at it in this way that even with his disability, like Stevie Wonder, he pursued his goal and he had some very big songs. And plus he was before Stevie Wonder, so yeah. Way back.
I have to say, this is purely coincidence, because when I say he wasn't Ray Charles, I didn't know your choice was Ray Charles. So we didn't plan this. We did not plan it.
Favorite activist. Again, I'm trying to be sophisticated, but I can't be the favorite activist is Rihanna. Like Rihanna, I mean, as an artist, I think that you're given a platform, and she uses that platform not only to produce music, but to also make lots of statements about issues going on in the world. We read a news article about her sometime this month. Well, this month is new, last month, when she was raising funds for people from smaller countries, less fortunate people, and she's always using her platform, as I mentioned, to raise funds and to raise awareness, especially for colored people like ourselves. So that's why she's my favorite activist, and I just love her.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that now you're 2 for 2 with Riri. So I'm seeing Mimi.
And Riri, like she's my bestie, so I have to root for my bestie.
Nothing to do with that at all. All right. So as for mine, Martin Luther King Jr., and you're absolutely right. His birthday was a few weeks ago, and some of you would know that there was a piece that we did on him, and I learned a lot about him, even more than I knew before. And I would say that he's definitely my favorite activist, because we've gotten to the point where we are in world history and recognition of colored people, in large part because of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Mine would be Rosa Parks. I'm a feminist, so and the fact that she stood up to the man, she only left afterwards. And I did a little background research, and I realized she only paid $14 to get away from the entire thing. $4 was the court charges, and $10 was the amount she paid for the charge. No, we cannot pay that amount to get away from any charge.
Oh, not that I would know.
But the fact that she stood up, and then she caused a, how do we say it, a boycott that lasted for around a year. Rosa Parks, definitely for me. So the woman.
Definitely.
Absolutely. It was 13 months to be exact. Yeah, so good.
Our favorite actor and actresses. Oh, well, sorry. Our favorite Arthur. Sorry.
Can I interject here? Are we gonna get Riri? Did Rihanna write something? Riri? Are we gonna go three P?
I feel like I'm being judged. However, I stand 10 toes down on my decision. She's my bestie, and I'm gonna represent. And I also like her. Sorry to go back, but
sure.
Because she's young, every time we think about an activist, we tend to think about somebody who pretty stands our time, somebody who's older, but she's a young person. And again, she's using her platform for great things. Anyway, we're going to move right along. I'm staying with, by the time we finish this show, Rihanna should be following me on Instagram, so I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
We're going to go to our favorite author. And she recently came out with a book. I don't know if she's written lots of books, but I know she wrote a book maybe in 2020, and that is Michelle Obama, forever First Lady. And I see forever First Lady, The Becoming, and it's a very popular book, very, very beautifully written. I think she was an amazing First Lady. I think she's so personable, so friendly, so inspiring, and I love her, and I love her book.
All right. Good. So I don't know what to say here, because I was joking with Mimi about Riri and now I'm following her lead with Obama.
That's what I want to do.
There you go. So Barack Obama, the audacity of hope.
I just love them.
Yeah, I think they're great. They're great examples of, Black people, sophisticated Black people who can hold offices without scandal, who can represent very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I, honestly, totally proud. All right, Hortensia.
So I chose Derek Walcott. Not to downplay the people that went to the outer world, but I kept it in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
St. Lucia, and he was also one of the first graduates from Walden University to also teach undergraduate and graduate studies.
Awesome.
So yeah, so big things do come from the Caribbean.
Of course, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, Rihanna is from the Caribbean. I'm like, oh my God. Rihanna, you gotta do it.
I don't know. Well, you've gone to Rihanna. I'm just thinking Good Morning SKN is Caribbean based.
Big things coming indeed.
Our favorite actors or actresses, I'm going to go with
I'm not gonna guess this
Denzel
one.
Washington.
Okay, didn't guess it.
Denzel Washington. I mean, he's such a great actor. Like, there's no role that you put him in that I'm not convinced. Like, he's so convincing. He really takes on the persona, and he's also handsome. He also followed closely by Idris Elba.
Listen.
He's big.
Listen, Cortensia, I was going to watch you for this one because I'm like, it has nothing to do with the fact that Mimi thinks he's a looker, right? Nothing at all.
No, but then Idris Elba comes in for that. Idris Elba is really hot, so, and he also can act, so yeah, those are my two. Close competition.
Wow, what a triangle we have here. Anyway, moving on, all right? So, yes, the favorite actor of mine, also me, Morgan Freeman. I call him Uncle Morgan for sure.
God.
Uncle,
God.
man.
The voice of
You're
God.
talking about any role that he assumes, he's just great, no matter what
But
he
he
does.
always assumes being God.
Well, not always.
A lot.
Well, yeah, but
I've
he
seen
has the
about 3
voice.
movies when he's been God. I like the idea of a black God, though. So
Yeah,
I'll stick with that. That's good.
fair enough. We're progressing because you're moving away from God as a woman, as I remember. Check that clip. All right, move on.
We'll let that slide continue.
My favorite black actor would be Samuel L. Jackson. He's acted in movies from, I would say, way back. I remember him first in slave movies, and then I'm a big Marvel fan. So the fact that he is the leader of the Shield, Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry. Yeah, so that's my actor of choice.
He's pretty great. And again, he's one who could do all those different roles. He could be very serious, very funny.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good list here. Pretty proud of it.
Idris Elba not making the list, but maybe next time.
An honorable mention. He's an honorable mention. I did say he's an honorable mention. So I mean, that was us loosening up. Again, we're introducing our new host. Get familiar with her nice friendly face. We're gonna take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Good Morning SKN.
So, nurse, what now?
Let me explain. I'm going to put your feet in these 2-meter stands called stirrups. Your legs will be open. Then I will insert my fingers into your vagina and make a check. After that, I'll insert this. When that is inside of you and open up, I can see your cervix better. Then I will use these other devices to help me remove the cells from your cervix and check for the cancer and the HPV. Just relax. It will be over very soon.
Nurse, that wasn't so bad. I thought it would have been very painful.
I am glad your first experience was a good one.
So, when will I get the results?
The results usually return in 3 weeks. You have to come back here to the health center and I will explain. If there's anything abnormal, I will make a referral to a gynecologist.
Okay. Can I get the HPV vaccine my daughter got?
No, I'm sorry, you cannot. The World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization did a lot of research and found out after persons are sexually active, the vaccine does not work as well.
So what's the best way to prevent me from dying from this HPV?
Just what you did this morning. Early and yearly screening for the HPV virus and checking for changes in the cervix with the pap test.
How do they know they're not sick?
I know, it's really sad. In 2014, 1 in 4 women in St. Kitts and Nevis were tested positive for one high-risk type of HPV. And in the last 10 years, the number of women with cervical cancer has increased.
See what I mean? But it's good that you could get the pap test, the HPV vaccine, and the breast checks all at the same time.
Yes, share what you've learned with your family and friends. We in the Ministry of Health are encouraging women to come and have these tests done every year because cervical cancer can be effectively treated if detected and diagnosed early. So let's both do our part. It's time to end cervical cancer.
Today, the 1st of February marks the beginning of Black History Month. We just shared with you some of our favorite Black icons. Now we are going to discuss the creators of the items we have on display here. All of these items were created by Black people around the world.
So we're gonna take a look at what we have here.
The very first one is actually the pencil sharpener.
Not the one like we have here, but the one that I remember that from primary school.
Oh, the
one that you
wind
up.
Okay, yeah, the one that made my hand cramp. All right. So that was by John Love, and he invented that in the 1890s. Black icon, great invention, used worldwide.
Right. I'm sure he was using it to write love letters. That's just my assumption.
That's you.
The other one was the light bulb. Yeah, the light bulb. And this was created by Louis Latimer in the 1880s. So thank God for him, because I couldn't imagine using candle.
I want you to hold it up because I'm just thinking that, at the risk of being corny here, this was definitely a bright idea.
Actually, 10 pounds. Wow. It took for me to leave. For those good points.
Oh. I made up for all of it in one shot.
We're gonna go to the other one, which is the fountain pen, and that was by Walter Purvis in the 1980s.
Really? That's a recent invention.
That's very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, the fancy, yeah. I've never owned one of these.
The bougie writers.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not one of those. If you're a bougie writer, let us know.
All right. And okay, the last one that we have here is well, hey, you know what this is, right? This is peanut butter. Invented by...
Wonderful invention.
You understand? Invented by a Black man, George Carver, in the 1890s. So this has been around for over 100 years.
Wonderful. Thank God for him.
Thank you, George.
I PB&J sandwich without the peanut butter.
I know, and plus I actually had peanut butter and bread this morning for breakfast.
Okay.
So give thanks to him, please.
Okay. Thank you for feeding our upcoming host. Okay, very well.
So we're going to pause here for a brief second because we do have some other inventions to bring on here. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Before the break, we were talking about some well-known items that were created by Black persons. We now continue with something that many of us like to munch on.
Drum roll, please.
Potato chips, and I think Mimi are ready to munch on them.
Yes, I am. I'm hoping that
These were created in the 1850s, and we still eat them up to today.
Yeah.
If you would have noticed, the flavors and the varieties different. The kettle cooked to me is the bomb. Not that the old one isn't, but yeah, kettle cooked jalapeno, my favorite. So potato chips. Thank you, Mr. George Speck.
Thank you so much.
I'm an original lover. I love the original. I gotta say, I love the
Are you going to
original.
partake in a potato chip?
They're good?
Yeah. Celebrate Black history with us. Let's commune together with potato chips. Look at this, we're bonding. This is great.
Potato chip.
Oh, wait a minute. And I'm eating, and I'm supposed to be not making a mess, but if I did, I would be able to clean up with the next invention. That's the dustpan. And if you notice here, I'm holding the dustpan. I didn't ask any of my co-hosts to hold the dustpan because guess what, man? We can hold dustpans too, okay? So this one, and all the ladies,
Give me on a roll today.
and all the ladies in the studio were just like, yeah. All right.
Wow,
If you want to make ladies smile, hold the dustpan. All right. So this one. Hey, you're fine here. It's
You know, you might need to do a little bit more. But when was this invented?
This was invented in, well, it was invented by Lloyd Ray. Yeah. That's what I got. Lloyd Ray. It was invented by Lloyd Ray. All right.
All right, and we have another great these are amazing. The ice cream scoop by Alfred Crail. Do I have his name right? I think so. But yes, the ice cream scoop. So I wonder how we were eating ice cream before the ice cream scoop was invented.
How did we eat before anything?
With our hands.
Exactly.
There's still some people who eat with their hands today.
Cultural thing as well.
Yeah. Yes, and I think a hand is a very effective tool. Maybe not for ice cream, but for chips.
And a dustpan. And a dustpan. All right, move on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would have come to our final invention by a Black person, the stethoscope. And most of us would have known this because once we go to the doctor, they use it to test our heart and our pulses to make sure that all is well. Well, and that we're still alive, but yeah.
And chicken.
The stethoscope, it was invented by Thomas A. Carrington in the 1870s and the 1880s. So power to the Black man.
Wow. So yeah, these are just a few of the great inventions created by Black people. And if you guys know of any other inventions that we created, Black power, Black excellence, just let us know in the comments below. We'll be excited and we'll be so happy. Wow, Jamie. Remember that we spoke about our New Year's resolutions and we spoke about fitness and health and...
You're the ones who are promoting the potato chips.
He's pulling herself out.
So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with more fun. You're watching Good Morning SKN.
Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Shake. Drop to the ground and take a little cover under a table or strong furniture. Kneel. Bend your head close to your knees. Hold on to a table leg or desk, please. Hands. And your head, protect your neck with your arm. Face away from windows, you must understand. If you don't have a shelter to hang on to, remain in a place till the shaking through now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Drop, cover and hold. Stay in control. Drop, cover and hold. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Wave tsunami, wave tsunami, wave tsunami. Move away from doorways, windows and shelves. Heavy objects could drop. You could damage yourself. Cabinet and bookcases may also fall. Like pictures and objects mounted on the walls. And if caught outside, find an open space. Debris from buildings may fly in your face. Kneel or sit on the ground. Cover your head and remember every word that I say. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Drop, cover and hold. Stay in control. Drop, cover and hold. Don't panic. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake. Let me see you shake like earthquake now. Wave. Tsunami. Wave. Tsunami. Wave. Tsunami. Drop. Everybody now. Drop. I wanna see Tsunami. I want you put up all your hands. Tsunami. I want you put up all your flags. Tsunami. 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 Do not go home without permission. Stay and wait for help and instructions. Do not go down by the sea to watch the action, just to talk about what has happened. In science lab, chemicals may drop. Exit only after shaking hands up. Do not panic, everything will be fine. Don't use the phone line at this time. Shake, let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake, let me see you shake like earthquake now. Drop, cover and hold, stay in control. Drop, cover and hold. Don't panic, shake, let me see you shake like earthquake now. Shake, let me see you shake like earthquake now. Wait, tsunami, tsunami, tsunami.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
And we're back on the final segment here on Good Morning SKN, where we find out what's happening. So, Jamie, can you tell us what's happening?
All right, what's happening? Well, it's Black History Month. It is officially Black History Month, today being February 1st and all. So a whole long month of celebrating Black accomplishments. So this is an annual observance which originated in the United States, where it is also known as African American History Month. So stay tuned to Good Morning SKN, as we will be highlighting various Black icons from all around the world. So yeah, that's what's happening on
I have my Black Lives Matter pin. I don't know if y'all could zoom in. Maybe don't. I do have on my Black Lives Matter pin. So yeah, I'm ready to celebrate.
And you're wearing black as well.
Yes. Yep. Well, we are wearing black.
Some form of black.
Yes. Yeah. So what else is happening, Hortensia? Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, I have to hide my nails.
All right.
Be Well and Bloom, locally based mental health center, is hosting 10 days of wellness series. They will be sharing mental health resources, connecting with experts on IG Live, convos, and hosting monthly virtual mental health check-in on Zoom. Get excited to join BWB from the 1st to the 10th of February to unpack some of the layers on mental health. To sign up for their newsletter, go to linktr.ee/bewellbloom.
Yeah, so it's linktr.ee/bewellbloom. So yeah, I mean, mental health. I know for the Black community, we do have a problem discussing mental health, but I'm happy that, even during the pandemic, we brought more attention to, talking about mental health. So I'm really excited about this initiative.
Oh yeah, and I learned also when we interviewed, Dentricia from Be Well Bloom, that breathing is so very important. Remember?
Yes.
We had some breathing exercise. I'll teach you. And we had to.
Yes, we do have to practice those breathing exercises from time to time. And the last thing on what's happening.
No, you shouldn't get this. This is my story. You should not get this story. This is my story. No.
Rihanna, my best friend, is pregnant. So yesterday the world was taken by storm. I was heartbroken and excited at the same time when Rihanna announced that she was pregnant. She's hailing from Barbados, as you know. She's a fashion mogul, singer, artist, icon, activist, and she's expecting her first child with A$AP Rocky. I'm hearing some heartbreak sounds in the studio today. Rihanna probably debuted her baby bump on a stroll with A$AP Rocky in his hometown of Harlem. And I remember seeing that picture and I was like, oh! For a few seconds, I'm really, really excited. And I remember her saying, that some interview, a few years ago, she was saying, in 10 years or in 5 years, I want to have my family, I want to have my fashion line. Mm-hmm. And she's built all of those things in this time. So I guess manifestation is really real. And I'm super excited for her. Except Rocky's hot too.
We can tell that you're excited. We can tell that you're excited.
All things Riri.
Yes.
All things Riri.
All things Riri.
Hashtag Riri, hashtag Mimi, hashtag Mimi loves Riri. All right.
Yes.
So, viewers, we also want to hear from you, right? So, if you have any events that are coming up, we want you to leave us a comment and let us know all about it. And let's see if your event gets to be read during what's happening on Good Morning SKN. So, hey, yeah, we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back, all right?
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Good Morning SKN. So I'm in the company of two lovely ladies and they're having discussions all about things that guys would generally walk away and not listen to because they're all fascinated right now, all about the Riri. They're on the Riri train. And they were saying a couple of things that was very fascinating to me. So you want to continue that girl talk?
I mean, I was surprised. And Cortesia here was saying that she knew all along.
I definitely knew all along. Me and a group of my friends, we had this discussion, right? When she went to Barbados last year to collect her, what was it, National Heroes Award?
Yes, she became a national hero.
Yeah, she had on a certain dress. And when she went up in the evening, they called back all the national heroes. She had her hands like this. So then one of my friends said, she's pregnant. And look at her face too. And we'd be like, maybe not, maybe not. Then we'd be like, yeah, look at that. It's showing, but she hiding it with her hand. And I remember her saying she's not pregnant. So when I heard it yesterday, no shock.
You were not
like,
surprised.
Just congrats. Yeah, no shock.
I was really shocked because I didn't notice the belly at all. I was more so excited that she was becoming a national hero. So I was all caught up in all of that. And of course, I love Mia Motley as well. So I was like fangirling over both of them. So I didn't notice the belly. And then yesterday, this huge belly with this baby that's about to drop. Exactly.
Yeah, she did a great job at hiding her pregnancy. She did a good job at hiding it.
I think I'm going to do the same. I think I'm going to just be low-key and then I'll just pop up 6 months pregnant. Be like, hi
guys.
Just don't walk anywhere with your hands like this because I'm going to pick it up.
But I was just going to say, because guys, you hear it, right? She's going to drop. She's not going to be here for you to see. Just check where the hands are. We're patting. I'm looking around the studio to look at the guys here because I saw some of the guys like this. Does that mean that you touched the guy? I don't know what to say. I don't know. But the face. And you guys can't see this, all right? So yeah, these are the things that girls talk about when we are not. We have no clue. We didn't even know Rihanna was pregnant or whatever. We were just like in another world. But you guys clearly can observe the dress and all these things are details.
The angles. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that we should know about? I mean, I was told that I should hold a dustpan and that would make somebody happy. What else do I need to know?
So you probably need to write your book.
Oh boy.
So I'll start writing the book.
Mm.
Okay. So Cortesia, how has been your first, like we're almost at the end of the show. We have a few more minutes left. How has it been going for you?
Good. I must say good. Hosting is something that I always wanted to do.
Oh.
So
it's been on your bucket list for some time?
It's been on my list. And when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, oh, no. Like, I have a vision book because I have not yet completed my board. And this is the third thing that I wrote early this year. And to see that the third thing came through before the other two. So I was like, oh my God. And I was nervous when the person contacted me to tell me about it. But then I decided, you know what? Now is the time. So I just took the steps. I'm like, I can do this, man. I was a flight attendant for so long. I watch people in their face. I can do this, not the nervousness or whatever. And even if I make a few blunders, eventually it'll all go away. So yeah, I'm good.
That's the attitude. That's the attitude. I think we have similar stories, to be honest with you, right? Because, yeah, didn't see this coming, to be fair. Didn't see this coming. Did you see it coming?
At least not this year.
But you wrote it.
I wrote
the
it.
Thing about.
But I've been writing it for a while. So maybe that's why it's...
There.
It was number 3 again this year. Because I've been writing it for a while and just...
So what did you think would happen? That's why people say, like, when you're manifesting, we're going to use that quote. When you're manifesting, you need to be specific with your manifestation.
Write the vision and make it clear, right?
Yes, and be very, very clear with it. So if you kept on writing it, the universe is like, well,
it's
here you go.
Cards. It's in the cards. And I normally post plenty motivational stuff in the morning. So when I read back some of them that I posted, I really didn't pay attention to see that all of it was leading up to this said moment.
Wow.
So, very great.
I'm really excited for you. You need to give me a page from your little book so I could start manifesting my $1 million and all these nice things.
I want to see what you write in your book. I don't know. You guys at home want to see too? You want Mimi, you got to give us a page of the book.
No.
Before you go. No,
I'll just pop up with my surprise. I'll pop up with my pregnant belly.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
And I'll pop up with my Bugatti. And I'll pop up in my mansion.
You'll just pop up.
I'll just pop up. Just check for me.
And then you'll pop in from time to time.
Yeah, pop up.
You got to do that. You got to do
I will.
that.
I will. I know you guys will miss me.
We will.
Yeah.
But we know you won't be a stranger, right?
I won't. So, I mean, this has brought us to the end of another, fantastic, one of my favorite episodes of Good Morning SKN. I mean, I love the feminine energy. And I love Jamie as well.
I was just about to say, you know.
I love the feminine energy and I love Jamie as well. I have a few more days, take it easy. So remember to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. We just did a boomerang, so make sure you go and like that when we post it, okay? Like, subscribe, follow, and comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm lingering. So we say, you don't want the moment to end me. All right, so leave us a comment and tell us what topics and guests you would like to see next on Good Morning SKN. And of course, Hortensia, I'm going to let you take this one.
We will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
When you start your morning
with us at Good Morning SKN.
Bye, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, SKN.